Brian here with Guitars, Whiskey, and Golf. Thanks for joining me today. So, I've got a fun video series coming up. I'm going to start a series of videos comparing cask strength whiskeys to try to determine what are some of the best cask strength whiskeys out there. So, I'm going to do this in a series of videos. This first one is going to be pitting Still Austin cask strength against Stellum cask strength against Penelope 9-year, which is also cask strength. I chose these three because, first of all, you don't hear a lot about, these three bottles of whiskey. Of course, they're mentioned out in whiskey tube land, but they're not talked about a lot, especially the Stellum. The other reason I chose these three is that all three of these are right in the same price point. Still Austin cask strength was about $60. This Stellum was a store pick. It's about $65. And the Penelope 9-year cask strength is actually around $70 in my area. But you're talking a $10 swing here between these three bottles. The Still Austin is 118 proof. The Stellum is 118 proof. And the Penelope's a little bit lower, right around 109. So I thought that I would start this series with three whiskeys that are priced comparably, very close to each other, have very, very similar proof points, and are also some bottles that, like I said, don't necessarily get talked about every day, like the Elijah Craig barrel proofs and the Larceny barrel proofs. We'll get to those as well, because I'm sure at some point I'm going to have to integrate them into this comparison. But I'm going to taste all three blind. I have the bottles lined up, but the three glasses I have here are mixed up, and I do not know what is in each glass. So I'm going to taste all three blind. The winner of that will advance to the next round, where it'll be compared against additional cask strength whiskeys. And we'll try to get down to a sense of what I feel are some of the best cask strength whiskeys out there. So let's get into it. I'm going to try the first one on my left here. It'll be interesting to see if I can judge what each one is. Interesting. I really, really like that. That is a caramel, brown sugar, warm baking spice bomb. Very, very pleasing on the palate. It's got a nice finish. I'm getting a nice bit of oakiness right now. A little peppery. But again, very, very warm, rich flavors of caramel, brown sugar, a little warm spices. If I had to guess, that's the Penelope 9-year. So we're going to put that one aside. I really enjoyed that. Let's get the next one. Interesting. A little lighter. The first one came across for me very dark, very rich. This is also very nice. Just a touch lighter. A little nondescript, maybe. It's good. But it doesn't venture out into a lot of new territories for me. Has very classic bourbon notes. There's definitely some warm spice. Some nice vanilla. Nice oakiness. Again, very, very nice whiskey. Right now, I think I'm preferring my first pour, which I believe is the Penelope 9-year. If I had to guess, this is the Stellum. Let's go for the last one. A little buttery on the nose. My palate's not my nose is not picking up a huge amount of aromas right now. Let's see. Oh, that's delicious. Whoa, that's really good. That has got kind of a mesquite thing happening, a little bit of a woody kind of barbecued wood aspect going on. Yeah. It's woody, nice spice, peppery. There's almost a savory element. Again, we see this on Whiskey Tube all the time. Blind tasting things is a whole other ball game. You don't have the knowledge of the bottle or what you're drinking to color your thought process. A lot of times you buy a bottle and you start to do a review, and what you paid for it and what brand it is begins to influence your tasting of it. There's no doubt about that happens. I recently saw a blind video done on it's Bourbon night, and they were doing a blind flight, and they had, I believe it was either Jack 10, I think it was a Jack Daniels 10-year in their blind flight, and that came in last. And that just goes to show you how, you would think a Jack Daniels 10 would come out very high in a blind flight. Now, it was batch 1, apparently, and batch 1 did not get the best of reviews. But in any event, it just goes to show you that blind tasting is a different ballgame. Let's go back. Ooh, nice almond there. It's a beautiful whiskey. I personally think that's the Penelope 9, and that's either going to be my number 1 or my number 2, but I want to taste through all of them again. Again, that one is good, but I'm just finding it's a little nondescript, right? It's got some flavor notes that, okay, typical bourbon, but there's nothing jumping out at me that screams unique, that screams ultra delicious for this particular reason or that particular reason. It's a good bourbon. I'm enjoying it, but it doesn't stand out, put it that way. That one is really different. It's got that kind of mesquite wood thing happening, spicy, dark, rich, brown sugars. Definitely, there is a nutty note to it, maybe pecan. Some dark fruit as well, maybe like plum. Wow. Okay, so not to linger this any longer, I'm going to choose my favorite. And I'm going to go with this one, which I believe is the Still Austin Cask Strength. Whoa, okay. It's not Still Austin. It's actually Penelope 9. So I chose the Penelope 9 as my favorite. Yeah, that's really good. This was my The middle one was my least favorite. I think this might be the Stellum. Whoops, can't read it. Oh, I'm gonna have to peel off this bottom. I didn't write it dark enough. Let me just quickly peel this off. Wow. Okay, my least favorite. I'm shocked. Still Austin. This is shocking me because I was just drinking on the Still Austin the other day and was loving it. So it just goes to show you, when you do these things blind, so far Penelope 9, number 1. Still Austin was my third favorite. Although, listen, I said I liked it. It's just that I found it a little bit nondescript. This is the thing that's really, really shocking me, is because my number 2 is the Stellum. And overall, mentally, I was thinking of these 3, the Stellum was the one I liked the least. So there you go. Stellum came in number 2. The Penelope 9 came in number 1. And the Still Austin came in number 3. So my Penelope 9 is advancing to the next round of Cask Strength whiskeys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. All 3 are very good. The Penelope is a standout. And we'll see how it does in the next round. Take care, everybody.